Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. What? Why are you laughing, Coriander? What's going on?
Oh, you always do that to me. Shit.
Well,
It's
you
all good,
laughed.
man.
So we got Coriander, Killian with me. We're on Monster Fridays. We're talking about Final Destination 4, which is called The Final Destination, and we're continuing our series on these movies, and we still got one more to go after this. Um, let's check out the chat and then see what we think of this thing, man. We got Patrick's in the chat saying Final Destination 3 is the best one. I hear, man, it was a really good one. It really was. And we had fun on that episode. Neil's in the chat saying, I think this one has the worst opening of the franchise. Okay. All right. All right. Ginger Ninja's in the chat saying, hi all. What's going on, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey,
So every once in a while, there's like the sound with your mic or something.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
It's
let me turn
almost
down my
like
volume a little
robotic.
bit. Okay. Let me turn it down a little bit. Let me know if it keeps doing it.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Patrick saying, hi, Knight, Coriander, Killian, and Jerry. What's going on,
Hey.
man?
Hello.
All right, guys. Let's look. We've been at this for a couple of weeks. So let's just do a quick take and we'll give, people at least another minute or two to jump into the chat if they wish to do so. Let me know what you guys think of this in a quick little blurb. I'll start with you, Coriander, and then Kill.
This one isn't bad. It has some pretty good kills. That's like one thing you can say with all these movies. There's a few kills that are like, yeah, that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh.
I enjoy these movies.
Okay. All right. How about you, Kill?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I agree with Coriander. There were some great kills in this, but this one for me was kind of hard to watch. And as I was watching it, I now remember I have never fully seen this movie till today. I've seen the opening NASCAR, or stock car racing disaster, but other than that, I believe I turned it off. But we'll get into my reasoning and so forth.
All right. All right. Well, for me, I definitely think that this one, it was greenlit because Final Destination 3 did so well. It was a commercial success. It did pretty well with the critics. It had the biggest box office so far in the franchise. So that's why they greenlit this one. And interestingly enough, the director from Final Destination 2, which I think we all enjoyed quite a bit, is the director for this one. They've like flip-flopped back and forth because James Wong directed 1 and 3, and David Ellis directed 2 and this one. So, anyways, it's very interesting. We'll get into that a little bit more. We're going to give people at least another minute to jump into the chat if they wish to do so. So, we're going to get finished setting up. For you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, sit back, relax. You know what time it is. All right. Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. Let's start this thing off, Kill. So, the opening is where we're going to start, which is the same thing we do with all these movies. What did you think of the opening?
Okay, so this time, we're not on a plane or a highway or, a roller coaster. Now we're at a stock car racing event.
That's
All right.
right.
Hey, that's all cool. And once again, you got, two couples, friends, or they're just out trying to enjoy the race. And of course, you have those stereotypical characters. You'll have like
Right?
the nice guy, the a-hole, the kind of bitchy girl, and then the sweet girl.
Yes.
And they're all there, and then of course the other guy's a security guard, taking the place of a highway patrolman. Now we got a security guard. You have like a gentleman in a big cowboy hat. You got an asshole kind of racist couple. It's like, okay, all right, deja vu. I've seen this before. Look, I think out of all of us, I might be the most harsh on this. I did like the kills, and I like this franchise, but I just got to start off and say this fourth entry, I'm seeing the wires. I'm seeing the,
You
the
see the
form.
man behind the curtain.
I see them. I see the man behind. I see the Wizard of Oz. Okay, before he's
I was
revealed,
gonna say that.
and I'm just like, all right, yeah, okay, I know where this is going, but
Right. All right. And Coriander, before I get to you, let me just catch up to the chat. Patrick saying, hell yeah, boy. He loves that, man. Ginger Ninja saying, I was more of a fan of 1 and 2, not so much the others. Some good kills, but nothing compared to the truck logs of number 2. I can definitely agree with that. Yeah. Neil saying, this one and the fifth one are the weakest by far, but they both have a few good moments, in my opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
yeah.
Right.
Neil saying, ain't no one drinking Pepsi in the stands at a stock car race. Patrick says, nice product placement, right? Okay, so Coriander, that was good. Coriander, what did you think of this new cast of characters? How did they hit you?
Like Killian said, it was the typical, you know, typical type of cast that you'd expect,
Yeah.
and it was okay. I didn't mind them.
Hmm.
Uh, the asshole's death was, yeah, there you go. It's pretty good because isn't that
Yeah.
literally how he
And,
kind of died,
and
right?
by the way, his name is Carter. And I think that was a
Yeah.
deep cut to the first Final Destination with Carter because he was an asshole too. Although he was redeemed a little bit at the end. But anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. And yeah, he gets the premonition that, yeah, just like they all get. And, for me with this movie, his visions was kind of much. And I kind of did say that while watching this.
Hmm.
Um, but, I didn't mind it besides
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And you could also tell they put a whole bunch of little Easter eggs in this. You saw the number 180 quite a few times in the movie. You saw names that were repeated. You had a dog, or was it a dog? I think it was a dog named Browning, like Alex Browning from the first movie. You saw that Clear Rivers sign, for
Mhm.
clear and stuff like that. So they were really digging deep. But once everything starts going down, I mean, I think the kills were good, right?
Yeah, they're
But you
fun to
could tell
watch.
they were fun to watch, but kind of what Killian was saying, especially before we went live, they were really trying to angle these deaths to the 3D effect. And again, it is what it is because this movie came out in '09. So, that was kind of the thing that was going on. They were trying to, I don't know, just cash in on that and so forth. But I do think it was kind of at the detriment of the movie because some of the kills, they were just, I don't know. I don't know if over the top is the word I want to use because there's been a lot of over the top kills, in the first 3 movies before this. But maybe it's just because of the way that they were filmed, so that 3D could really come at you and so forth. Um, but I thought that the deaths in this race car scene were pretty good. Some of them pretty shocking too, But like you said,
Yeah.
the premonitions. I think the best way they were handled was more like in 3. I like that whole idea of just kind of putting the pieces of the puzzle together rather than actually seeing these different objects, and that kind of took me out of it too. And Kill, you were talking about the effects. What did you think about that when he was seeing the visions and stuff?
Well, like you were saying, like some of the kills, the cinematography of it was a little wonky for me. And
Right.
then on top of that, some of the ones where they put like the kind of animated, kind of like a snake coming towards the screen
Yes.
and kind of
Yep.
saying, "Hello," it's just like, all right, like what is all of that, man?
Right.
And
They're trying to be different.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
they
yeah,
were.
well, yeah, or just be very not different and put 3D in because it was hot at the time,
Yes.
and you could
Yes.
charge more money for your
Yes, they
tickets.
did. Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Which,
I
by the
see
way,
you.
and maybe it worked out because this movie made more money than 3. So, and
That's a
3
sin.
was and 3 was the highest grossing one up to that point. So it's crazy, man. But we'll get more into that too.
But can I say one thing as far as the
Yeah.
cast? They were not memorable at all to me. I know none of their names.
Right.
And I think and there's something that happens at the end of this movie that lets
Mhm.
me know that even the director and writer said, "Man, f them." Like, it's like there's no pageantry, but I'll get to that at the end.
Yeah. Real quick too in the chat, we got popping the popcorn. Katie's in the chat saying, "Hi friends, what's going on? How you doing?
Hey,
Nice to
Hello.
see you. Nice to see you." We got Sasha. Sasha's in the chat. What's going on? Saying
Hi.
hello.
hey,
I've never seen a single Final Destination film. No surprise there. But hi, how's everyone doing? Doing pretty
good,
good.
good.
Hope you're
Yeah.
doing well too, man. Very much so. Very cool. See you. Neil saying I saw this one in 3D at the theater. Neil, you have to tell me
Nice.
what did you think of the 3D when you saw it? I'd be curious to know what you thought of it. We got Miss Carter too in the chat saying, "Hey everybody,
Hello.
what's
Hey,
going on?" Mr. Bones in the chat saying, "You are the Night Watch."
yeah, you
All
are.
right. Mr. Bones saying, "I thought Morbid was doing this series with y'all." Yes, she actually was not able to make it with this one, but she will be back for Final Destination 5, which we will be doing next Friday. So mark it on the calendar. Mark it on the calendar. Um, but Coriander, let's get into after the accident. It's the same old thing. He saw the vision. Some people, left with him, and they were saved. And of course, they have the scene where they have the memorial. And the first guy that really got me though was you've got the mechanic guy, and you also got the guy, the racist guy, the redneck guy.
Yeah.
Now, what did you think of
Right.
these characters? I mean, to me, and kind of like what Kill said, they weren't very memorable. I mean, but they were just these
No, they're
stereotypes,
just
really.
they were, yeah, but they were just,
Hmm.
enjoy to watch, when they die, just to see what would
That is
happen.
true. That is very true. And that first kill after the race car tragedy, it was the racist guy. He was kind of
Yeah.
um, just drunk and driving down the road with
Yeah.
his truck and all this type of stuff. Wow, man, what a what a death scene. What did you think of this death scene?
It was great, because
Yeah,
he deserved it. He was a piece of shit. So, yeah,
yeah,
it was nice to
right.
see.
Right, right. Yeah, it was really, really bad. Kill, what did you think of that? Plus all the setup. He was drunk, he's driving down the street, and obviously we know what he was about to do, which was some ridiculous stuff. But I was just like, oh
Right.
boy. But what'd you think of it?
I liked it, but it's like the catalyst for his anger is a guy that like pretty much saved his life by like not allowing him to go back into all that chaos,
Right.
and because of that he feels okay, it's your fault, not all the explosion and NASCAR cars flying in the air, but it's
Hmm.
your fault my wife died. So okay,
Right.
really cool. But that
Yeah.
kill that kill it's funny sometimes the kills skirt that fine line of just being over the top, and
Yes.
I don't like them, but then some of them
Yes.
go over the top, and I'm just like, okay, okay, I like what you did there. So
And also the fact that when the truck starts moving on its own, because obviously death is controlling it, it hits the radio, and you've got the "Why Can't We Be Friends" song come on. I gotta admit that did make me laugh. I'm not gonna lie. There's no
yes,
lying here, no lying at all. Um, Real quick, Sasha was saying maybe it made more money because tickets still had to be bought for people to find out that it was a letdown. That's true. I mean, there are some times when that happens. Very, very true.
oh, yeah.
Neil saying, to be honest, the 3D effects were pretty cheesy. Yeah, yeah, they really do. Yep.
Yep.
Mr. Bone saying, don't hate, appreciate. Right?
There you
Exactly,
go.
man. Absolutely. But then after that, now of course we got a few different survivors. I'll start with you, Coriander. But then we come up to the next scene with Samantha, the mother of the
Yeah.
two Hellions. I mean, those kids,
Mm.
geez.
They were
I mean,
brandibals.
I'm telling you, man, they were crazy. But anyways,
Yeah.
she's in the hair salon. Now I gotta admit, this scene I thought was pretty good because the tension was really dragged out. There were a lot of moments that were happening.
Yeah,
What did you
that
think of it,
were.
Coriander?
This was a pretty good one, in the
Hmm.
beginning. Before she went in, you had the kids throw the friggin'
Yes.
rocks where the guy was going to start mowing the lawn, trying to hit that
Yes.
sign. And,
Hmm.
she gives them money to go to the arcade. And then, yeah, she goes in. And, yeah, first thing she's in the chair. And that thing, yeah. You're getting your hair cut and something malfunctions like that. That's dangerous. They could, like, cut your
Right.
ear or who
Yes.
friggin'
Or your
knows what.
eye.
Exactly. So yeah,
Yes.
and then the whole fan thing. Well, before that, you had the hairspray that was somehow getting, rattled over to near, where the hair straightener was, and
Yes.
yeah,
Heating
that
up.
exploded. Yeah, that exploded and knocked the fan
Yep.
off the ceiling, which was almost coming off anyway. And yeah, so there was a
Yes.
lot of shit. You had the conditioner that squirted or the shampoo that all over the floor, and when the kids got there, they slipped and fell, and
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
bunch of
Yeah,
chaos.
this might have been the most dragged out death, like more reminiscent of three
Oh
and
no.
two. I don't know, Kill. Did you think that, or what'd you think of this scene? And do you think that this
Look,
was more reminiscent of two and three?
yeah, I definitely
Okay.
do. But in my mind, okay, just close your eyes and go on this journey with me. You see, like the Grim Reaper, and he's got his scythe, and he's in there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill it with this. Oh wait, nah, nah, nah. I'm gonna use this." And because as I'm watching, I'm like, "Ooh, is that what's gonna? Oh, it's not gonna be that." And he's just like,
Yes.
"Man, I got so many. You know what? I'm not even gonna use anything in here. I'm gonna get it with something outside of here." And it's like, "Wait, what?"
Yes.
And
Yes.
and guess what? That kill was shot in a way that, oh, you have something coming at the screen. And I'm
Right.
just like, oh, okay. But yes, this was dragged out. But once again, I didn't mind it because I was just like, ooh, what's gonna happen here?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I thought it was really, really effective. And the only thing about it was kind of cheesy. But of course, Kill, we know how this was when we were kids, when the kids were acting up as she was walking out the door and she says, "I've got my eye on you." And I was like, oh,
Ah,
boo,
boo.
boo. All right,
Oh,
real, real quick in the chat. We got my man Heroic Waffles in the chat saying, "Hey y'all, what's up? What's up, man?
Hey,
How
hello.
you doing?" And we got Phil from Phil's Creepy Vids in the chat saying, "Hey, our
Hello.
fans, what's going
hey,
on,
Phil.
man? Nice to see you guys." But yeah, no, this was a really good one. I gotta admit. Mr. Bones saying this stream is some good shit. Laugh out loud.
Thank you, sir.
Have some of that over here.
Neil saying can't believe she
Oh,
didn't see it coming. Oh,
ha.
Neil. Jeez.
I like that, Neil. Yeah.
She didn't have
Wow.
that third eye.
Wow. Right. Wow. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
she did. Hey, she didn't keep her eye on the prize.
Right. Right. Hey,
Ah,
I see what you did there. Okay. All
ah.
right. Let's stop. All
Okay.
right. So, but here's the thing, guys. Now, and this is where I want to position this to you guys. Now, all of this has happened, right? You got the mother died, the guy that he's a racist, he dies. So then you've got the two couples, like you were talking about earlier, Kill. They meet up together, right? Now
Yeah.
you've got Nick and Lori, the main couple, are telling Carter and Janet about, hey, you know, Nick had these visions, and two people have already been killed. And we looked up on Google and we saw that this has happened before. They referenced the other movies, Flight 180 and so forth. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I was in a situation like these people and I survived this thing, and one of my homeboys is saying, I saw this happening and so forth, I would heed his words, right? But instead, you got Carter who's like talking all that stuff and he doesn't believe it. And Janet, she's kind of just all over the place. She's hysterical, emotional. So I can kind of
It's
give
like,
her a little
damn
bit of
it,
pass.
Janet.
Yeah, right. Damn it, Janet. Right. So I can kind of give her a pass. But I think this is one thing about this movie that I don't think they were as successful with yet. And we'll talk about when it happens. But in this movie, like nobody was really working together. You know what I'm saying? Like if you went through an event like this either one of two things should happen. You should be super thankful for this kid that saved your life, or believing what he's saying, like working with him, being a team. But instead, everybody was just spread apart, which was so different than the first three movies. And I think it was to the detriment. And it took about 40 minutes before there started to be some teamwork. And that's when they brought in George. But we'll get to that in a second. What did you think of this, Coriander? Like when they're having the meeting and it's just the message is just not hitting home. Did that take you out of the movie?
You know, no, not
Okay.
really. I
Okay.
mean, she tried telling him. They both tried telling him, but you can
Right.
only do what you can do. You know. So.
Okay. All right. How about you, Kill?
Man, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, I've been here, done this. We're having the meeting, you know. We're,
Right.
we're we're having the come to Jesus moment here, and some people are going to be receptive, and some people are not. And like, you know, this other couple, I mean, the dude, he said, he literally summed it up with his last statement to them. I'm gonna go do
Yes,
what I do best, get
I
laid.
know. Yeah, it's like
And it's like,
really,
really,
wow.
all right, dude. Like I don't think I really liked any of these characters. At least from these four, because the other couple, they're too good, too sweet.
Okay.
Like
Yep.
almost, they are just default. You
Yeah.
are just default. You're not
Right.
good. You're not bad. There's no substance there.
Right.
I think with some of the other protagonists, you know, whether they were a couple or had a romantic interest, or
Mhm.
the sheriff, there was substance there. But this couple
Yeah,
was just too goody goody.
I agree.
And thank you,
Because
because
well,
I'm just
here's what
like,
I was going to say is, with Final Destination 3, what I really liked about those two, talking about Mary Elizabeth Winstead and the guy, is that they actually didn't like each other. You know what I mean? They were
yeah,
just brought into this situation, and both of their significant others got killed on the roller coaster. And through
yes,
the movie, they found a way to work together and actually formed a friendship, a kinship. That's realistic, and those actors really did a good job portraying it. So those characters, I remember them, I cared about them, and when things were happening, I wasn't taken out of the movie. So I agree with you on that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Real quick too in the chat, let's see, we got Mr. Dan's in the chat saying, hey guys, love the Xmas tree background. All right. Nice to see you, Dan. And we got Chris. Chris is in the chat saying, hey all, what's going on? How you doing? Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
hey,
Cool to see you guys. And by the way, please give the video a like. That will help support the channel. But we do have that moment, Coriander, where Nick decides to go back to the racetrack because he's trying to figure out the vision. He couldn't remember the vision. I will say that this was kind of, the order of the death. So I will say that this was, for me anyways, this is when the movie started to pick up some momentum because good old George comes into the story and helps them by using the security footage. What did you think of this scene and how it started to go from here? Because this is about 40 minutes into the film right now.
Yeah, this is when things, like you said, they start picking up. You start getting the teamwork, like all the
Yeah.
typical movies, and
Right.
George was good. I enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
So it was a bummer,
Yeah.
when he went, but it's almost like, well, he had a reason, obviously, because his wife and
Yeah.
daughter, which was pretty sad.
Right.
So, yeah, but
Yeah.
I
I mean,
didn't,
he was one of the deepest characters, and I mean, he didn't have a
he
lot of
was.
screen time, but he actually had some good
I
character
felt
background,
for
I
him.
thought.
Yeah,
I did too.
yeah,
Yeah. Some
yeah.
actual good acting moments too. Prometheus is in the chat too saying, hey, Nightwatch and Coriander and Killian, the Terminator, what are you trying to say, Killian?
what?
Ginger Ninja saying, yeah, I gotta agree with Killian here. Very annoying characters throughout, which really made this a forgettable installment. Yep, I
Yes.
agree. Flamethrower saying, I just want to know who won the race. Us Florida boys love our stock car racing. I don't think anyone won that race.
I don't think anyone won that race.
That was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough.
The Grim Reaper won that race.
Right?
Right.
But then we get to the next set of kills, a false kill, by the way. But anyways, it was pretty cool. Now I'm gonna tell you what. After seeing this movie, I did think twice about the next time I went to a car wash, Killian. So tell me what you thought about Janet's scene in the car wash.
This was very entertaining. This one,
Yeah, it was.
it seems like I'm giving this movie a lot of praise, but
Well, I think
I
it's got some moments
it
that
it
are
really does.
peppered
It really does.
throughout, but as a
Yes.
cohesive film, it didn't land as a whole, is the way
and
I
and,
look at it.
I think the best way I'll say it, and we've kind of been tiptoeing around this a little bit. The other
Hmm.
films, especially like the third film, you had so much substance about the characters, like Mary Elizabeth and her relationship with her sister, and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Whereas this, you just have a really cute, nice couple that are kind of boring, and you got their asshole friends that you don't care
yeah,
about. You got a racist that you don't care about. You got a
yes,
mechanic dude that you don't care about, and you
yeah.
got the gentleman who's
George.
a security guard who he's good, but I have a problem with George.
Mm.
And it's the problem I kind of have with some of the other African American males in this series. George, why are you trying to hang yourself? Why are you trying to
I
hang yourself?
know, man. He
The
said yes,
the
and they
a-
oh
the,
yes,
a-
they
the
definitely would
African
say
American character, the second one, T.C. Carson, brings the gun out and it's like, no one tells me what to do. It's like,
yes, yes.
and
They
and then
redid that.
then the guy in the third one, he was just a jock and he was an a hole.
He
But
was an idiot. Yeah.
I digress. That's behind us. Let's talk about this car wash. The scene was
Yes,
awesome, and I kind of
yes.
wanted to see her die in there. I wanted to see, like, man, if those flappers hit her pretty
Yeah,
face,
man.
what is that gonna look like?
And it's gonna look like dog
Roast
food.
beef.
That's what it's gonna
I
look
don't
like.
know. Yeah, yeah, but
Shredded
once again,
meat.
definitely.
Yes.
But it was very interesting because once again it's a nice elaborate one, and you're just wondering like, man, how is she going to get out of this? And
Right.
hey, lo and behold, the
George
the
to the
team the
rescue.
team is forming. Yeah,
Finally. It's
right.
finally, man. And by the way, and we'll get back to the mechanic because the mechanic death was before this, but I will say this. Now, this was Janet in a moment where she could have become one of the smarter characters in this film, but eventually she becomes one of the dumbest. I mean, she was literally right in the heart of madness. Shout out to Fist of the North Star. But she was definitely in the heart of madness. You know what I'm saying. But she didn't learn. She didn't learn anything. Now, Coriander, what did you think of this car wash scene? I mean, it was pretty elaborate. I mean, getting drowned in your car, that's pretty bad. And then
Yeah.
getting your head stuck in the
This one for
sunroof.
me, yeah, was a little unbelievable,
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
This one?
It was like,
What about
well, you
Hunt's?
know it.
Hunt's death was even
Which one was
Oh,
that
go ahead.
one? Who is he?
Hunt's he's the one in the pool.
Hey, that I kind of believe that one, honestly. That
Well,
suction, and if it gets a hold of
yeah.
you and something that it can really suck onto, I mean, and it was sucking onto
Well,
him. So yeah,
I
man.
guess so. But before that, though, and I'll stay with you for a second, Coriander. What about the mechanic death? Now that one, I thought that one could have been better, but it
Respect
was
for that
almost
guy. Honestly, he worked on some beautiful cars, and wow, I kind of enjoyed that when I saw that. First off, I was like, nice, It was a bummer. It was pretty cool
yeah,
though, the metal fence and the triangular chunks that were slipping out of him, and you could see through the
hmm
fence through him. That was
right,
pretty
right,
cool. The
right.
CGI, it always sucks when they use CGI, but you know what? You just gotta get over it because
Well,
that's what
not
they do
always.
nowadays. Not
Well, not
always, but
always.
most of the time. A lot of
Well,
the
yeah,
time.
a lot of the times, true. Kill. All right, so let's go to the swimming pool because this is when I just started to really like. I just started to check out a little bit. I mean, you got your boy. You could just tell he's an idiot right off the bat. What were you thinking in this scene? I mean,
Uh,
I'll admit it was, there was a lot of, like, wow, is this really going to happen? But what were you
Oh,
thinking?
it happened.
well, hey, at least he had some fun before this. I
I
mean,
Exactly.
guess so.
I mean, like, okay, this guy is the perfect type of douchebag you want to see catch it. You know,
Right.
he was just having some sex with a girl in one of the pool rooms or whatever, and he was kind of an a-hole to her. Then he's an
Yes.
a-hole to like little kids with the water
Yeah,
guns and
he
stuff.
punked the little kid, man. And although I gotta
Eh,
admit that scene was kind of funny though, because the little kid, he was like, "Give me the gun." The kid's like, "No." I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then and so wait, what did the suction latch onto on him again? Like his
Just
swim trunk?
Apple.
His trunks,
Yeah, was
Yeah.
it
and his body.
the
Eventually, his body.
tie? Yeah, oh yeah.
No, it was just his body.
No, just the
Oh,
suction, man.
Yeah.
well, look, that
And what
that
happened
is
is that it started
Because
the
to drink.
PSI started to go further up and further up. I think it got up to like 200 PSI or whatever, and
mhm.
then
Yeah.
squish.
Yeah. There goes
I
your intestine.
mean,
Because you saw his body cave in, his chest
yeah.
caved in. Yeah.
I mean, like this one was a little over the top for me. But it was enjoyable, and I'm just like, wow, okay, dude. Like, I mean, I kind of felt bad for him because, hey, that's nightmare fuel for me. Just drowning.
Right.
Drowning is
Right.
nightmare fuel for me. And
Mhm.
when I see scenes like this where somebody's close to drowning, I start to kind of get anxious.
Right.
Do you
know,
go swimming, Killian? Do you go swimming?
no, I
He doesn't
go
go swimming.
walking on the
Yeah.
land the way
I
God
tried to get
intended.
Ignite to go swimming, and it's like, come on, man.
We
You're just
saw
gonna stand up
Jaws.
and the water
Look,
won't
we
even
know-
be. Oh, stop
look.
it! It's in a fucking pool.
Look,
Stop
let
it.
me ask you something. Have you ever seen the movie
Oh
Jaws?
man.
have
Many
you ever
times.
seen Creep Show 2?
Have you ever seen
Yeah.
Titanic?
Guys, this
Have
is
you ever-
like.
Have you ever played
5
Sonic
foot,
the Hedgehog, the water
You know, a
stage?
5 feet tall.
Have you ever
know,
played
the
Super
water-
Mario Brothers in the water world?
Oh God.
Have you ever
Get
played
over
Teenage
it.
Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Nintendo with that underwater stage?
No.
All right, there's so
Right.
many examples we could
Have
go
you
on and on.
Have you ever seen The Abyss?
You guys are
Ooh.
missing
Okay.
out because
All right.
swimming is fun.
So look,
That's too
let
bad.
me, let me jump into this, man. Neil was
That's
saying
my
the
whole
end of the
point.
race. The end of the race was
man.
pretty tiring, right? I agree, man. And Mr. Dan saying even pools aren't safe like an alligator.
Not where I live. Good God.
Well, you know, what are you gonna say?
Jeez.
Prometheus saying the Death Us League is forming. Right. Mr. Bones saying you need to be able to suspend your beliefs for horror. I love this series. Just saying. Oh, I love it too, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I do too. And even
I
with
like
this
these
film, even
movies.
with his issues, I mean, I think it's still, you know, better than a lot of horror, especially at that time. This came out in 2009. So, Mr. Bones saying, "Love the Raft, Killian." Yeah, man, that was a great segment in Creep Show too.
It
really
was. I beat
Yes.
you. I beat you.
Right? I was,
Yeah.
as soon as he started doing that, he got safe, right? He got to the beach. And I'm thinking,
Talking that
dog,
stuff.
talking that mess. We're gonna do a t-shirt, a tagline. You talking that mess, and you're gonna get caught. I was like, keep
geez.
moving. But anyways, Piranha 3DD was at a water park, right?
Yup.
Yeah,
There you go. Ginger Ninja knows what we're talking about. Prometheus.
Good
I did a dance with
example.
the devil in the pale of the moonlight. Right. Listen to Neil. Neil, you can drown in a teaspoon of water. You know how many teaspoons are in a pool?
Oh, stop it.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
So
look,
true.
So
That's
anyway,
lame.
so Hunt's death was something else. But Coriander, let's get to the finale of this thing. So he's gone. Now, here's the part that gets me. You have the scene where Nick is having the vision of the girls at the theater. They go to a mall. They want to go see a movie. Now, this is where Janet totally lost me because Lori starts getting visions herself or starts putting the pieces of the puzzle together because in the theater, things start to mirror what happened at the racetrack as far as what people are saying. There was a movie person asking someone to move their feet off of the table like George did at the race car track and all this and that. And Janet literally is saying that, you know, you're crazy. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to leave this theater.
I was meant to see this movie.
I was meant to see this movie. Look,
Like Again,
And
damn it,
and this is
Janet, just get the fuck up, man.
and this is what happens to you, Janet. You get
All
Right?
aced
for a
out.
movie.
All for a
Yeah.
movie, man. I mean, she literally became the
Stubborn,
dumbest character in this movie
right?
because, like I said, she was right in the heart of it. She saw these things happening, right? So how are you going to sit there and all of a sudden act like, "Oh no, you're crazy. Death wouldn't come after us." What?
Didn't you almost just die?
And
Like,
yes, like what? 10 minutes before that, she almost died in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my god, man. And poor George, man, he gets run over by the ambulance. And I'm like, oh man, that was
That was
rough.
a mess.
That
Yeah,
was a
man.
mess. That was a mess. But the bottom line
Yeah.
though is Nick saves Lori. They're trying to get out of the mall. And the escalator scene. What'd you think of that kill? That was a crazy scene too.
oh man, that was man. Once again, this is a little bit of nightmare fuel, man. Like, cause like escalators are death traps. All
Oh
right.
no.
Right? Right?
It's like, dude, like, but I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it, and in a
Yeah.
way, I kind of wanted that to be real. I wanted
Right.
that to kind of actually
Right.
happen because that would
Good
have
point.
changed things up a little bit.
Right.
In my opinion, like
Yes.
even with the whole setup with the movie theater almost kill, it's like, oh, okay, they're doing another opening type kill at the end
Yes.
of this movie. That is different.
Right.
I all right, that's interesting, but
Right.
they didn't really fully invest and go for it. So
Yeah, absolutely. What'd you think of it, Coriander? And especially
Yeah,
when she gets grinded up. That was
that was
she might
nice.
she,
That was,
she might have had one of the worst deaths. I mean, that's
yeah,
horrific.
that would suck.
She
Yeah,
was grounded into
grinding.
nothingness.
yeah, that was a
Right.
great scene. Bloody as hell. I mean, he was
Right.
getting sprayed, and yeah, it
Yes.
was great.
Oh man, it was horrible.
If only, yeah,
Uh
like Killian said, if only it was real.
you're right.
Right.
Sasha saying the Akira poster, Killian, 10 out of 10.
Hey,
All
thank
right.
you.
Yes. Stupid people do seem to be a common trait in this sort of thing, though. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
Let's see. That kid is back on the escalators. Right? Oh man, it's crazy. So we find out that it was a vision. He had this vision, and it played out a long time too. That was kind of,
Mm.
I don't know, it kind of played out a little too long for me, but it was a vision, and he was actually able to go in and save Lori. Again, Janet being dumb again in the vision and also in real life, but Nick was able to save his girlfriend, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And then you have the scene that's at the end. Now,
Oh.
I mean, look, and oh, that's right. Janet didn't die, but in the
Yeah, no.
vision she did. But they're at the
Hmm.
restaurant and they're just sitting there talking and this and that. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Well, what if this was the way it was supposed to happen?" And blah 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 and all that type of stuff. Coriander, what'd you think of this for the finale?
You know, it was okay. Like I said, the other one would have been better because it would have been like,
Yeah,
okay, because like you said, they kind of like dragged it out a little. And for
right.
them to get killed by a big truck, it's like, okay,
Yes.
that was kind of a bummer. It took all three of them out. So,
Yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
suppose in a way that was a little bit different because all three of them were in the same spot as they got there. I mean, obviously in part 3 you had the train, but
Right.
it was kind of like one after another, and then of course Mary Elizabeth was last. I mean, obviously the train got them all, but you get what I'm saying. This one was in one fell swoop. But yeah, it didn't really hit that hard for me though, man. What about you, Kill?
Well, this is the scene I was talking about earlier, where
Okay.
apparently they didn't give a shit about this cast either, because this just felt lazy to me. I mean, all right,
Mhm.
hey guys, the final scene, you're gonna be in a coffee bar, you're gonna get hit by a Mack truck. All right, let's get ready to shoot. It's just like, all right, really? Like, I mean, in the last one, and I hate to keep comparing it to its predecessor, but
Well, yeah, we
it's
got to
it's a
do it.
it's a it's a more superior movie. The whole
Yeah.
train thing, and it just as the viewer, when you realize, oh crap, they are all in the same place. It was a
Yes.
build up.
Yes.
This
Tension.
exactly. This, as soon as I saw all three of them there, I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, it's gonna the gas explosion, the building's gonna blow up, or okay, here comes a truck, and
Yeah.
oh, we're gonna cut to the X-ray scene of your jaw flipping and teeth
Yeah.
falling like
Yep.
chiclets. Like, all right, you're dead. It it
Chicklets.
it
Yeah.
it just felt kind of lackluster and lazy for a
Right.
movie that focused so much on the on the death sequences, that
Right.
it took all character out.
Mhm.
Like, this movie, they really, like we've all said, had great death scenes, and
Mhm.
at the expense of character building and
Right.
enjoyable characters. But then to just have it like this at the end, that shows me what they thought of those characters. You guys are trash,
Mhm.
and you could get ran over by a trash truck that comes through the
Right.
building.
Well, it also made me think, just like when you were saying, the thing about 3 is at the end, like we've been saying, you cared about those characters. You even cared about Mary Elizabeth Winstead's sister, because
Right.
they had a little dynamic where they butted heads as siblings, but then of course they bonded over this huge tragedy, and then of course saving the younger sister at that event, that tricentennial event. So when they were on the train and they saw each other for the first time, I think in a couple months, it was kind of like, as the audience, you're like, all right, because you liked these characters. And then when the train went off the rails and stuff, you're like, oh no. And you're worried about them. I had none of those feelings with the ending of this movie. It kind of was like, okay, the truck came through and it killed them. So, I just think they stumbled on character development, like you said,
Yes.
probably at the cost of trying to do these 3D effects for the killing. But, what can you do, man? What can you do? Real quick, let's see. Prometheus saying, "You can't cheat death, Night Watch. You just can't." Right?
Nope.
Amazing scene for real. My brother got his hand eaten by an escalator. It was vomit inducing and scary as hell. Yeah, it really. Wow. Yeah, that's. Ugh. I wouldn't even want to see that, man. Seriously.
Hmm.
Sasha saying, "Killian, did you just do a Kevin Hart impression?"
Oh, did
I don't
I?
know.
What?
I don't know.
If I did, it was unintentional. No copyright strikes, please. I don't.
Mr. Bones saying, "I'll tell you one thing, horror peeps are a lot friendlier with each other than other genres. I was in a martial arts stream the other night and mentioned a movie I liked, and someone was quick to say that movie was garbage, in my opinion. Laugh out loud. I hear you, man. Sometimes it can get rough with martial arts, and the opinions of the different movies, and does this actor really know the martial art, or did they train hard enough, and all that. It is rough, man. I know.
But
I know what you're
Buster
saying.
Rhymes.
Buster Rhymes and Halloween
Oh
Resurrection.
God.
Don't
Trick or
make don't
treat.
don't make me play it. Don't make
No.
me play it.
Mm.
Ginger Ninja saying, "Yeah, I've definitely noticed that the horror community is more open to people's taste in movies." Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one cool thing about the horror genre. There's just so much to choose from. Fortunately, at least our community. Well, I wouldn't have it any other way, but our community, definitely tries to respect everyone's opinions, no matter what, and that's the way it should be. But even
Yeah.
outside of our little channel, there's so many great channels and a great community where people just like to talk about movies, and you're not always going to agree on it, and that's fine. That's what makes it interesting, to talk about other opinions. So, but anyways,
Definitely.
guys, yeah, this movie was okay, but it didn't live up to the heights of 3. I think we can all agree on that. It just
Yeah.
it just didn't. It really didn't. But anyways, for you guys in the chat, let us know in the comment section, what did you think of the Final Destination? What did you think of the kills? Do you agree with us about the characters and how they were portrayed? Let us know. We'll have a conversation about that. Please give the video a like. We would really appreciate it. And also, just to talk about, and I was talking to Kill about this earlier, because this Sunday we're going to be doing a little something different. It should be really, really fun, but we're going to be talking about the villains, not the heroes, but the villains in the Scream franchise, from 1 through 4, and the possible clues that they will give us to the new Scream movie. And that should be really fun. We'll have my man Steven joining us again. We should have a blast. We'll have a few questions, a little bit of games and stuff. So, yeah, make sure you check us out. It'll be on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I can't wait to do that. That should be a lot of fun, guys. Real quick, as we head on out, let's see. Neon Black saying we did get through ranking The Shining without killing each other. Right?
Very
We
true.
we did, man. It's true. Mr. Bones saying, yeah, and the normies think we're odd and weird, but we're nice people and generally nice to each other. That's so true, man.
That's very true.
It's very true. And, we've talked a lot about that too, because, and I was talking about this with Coriander the other night, but now that Kill's on with us, we just eclipsed 900 subs, which, again, we want to thank people for, coming back to
Yeah.
us and supporting us. We're almost back to where we used to be, which is really, really awesome to think that we could eclipse, 1K twice in just over a little bit of a year. That's really cool. But the reason for that is because the horror community is very cool, very supportive of
Yeah.
each other. And, any of us that have, a channel, the only reason why it does anything is because of the viewership, from other content creators and also just the regular viewers out there. So that's one cool thing about this
Yeah.
horror community. And once again, it just blows my mind. I'm continually amazed by how cool that the horror community is. I mean, just very, very cool, man. So that's
Yeah.
all I can say about that. Um,
Mhm.
Mr. Bones saying, I mean, if a fellow horror fiend don't like a movie I love, I may feel some type of way, but I just stay quiet, laugh out loud. Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Sasha saying everything's subjective, especially when it comes to taste. Absolutely, guys. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that. I agree. But anyways, guys, we're gonna get ready to head on out. So we will catch you guys later. Again, we'll be back on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please stop by and check us out. We're gonna have a fun time and hopefully have some nice interaction with you guys in the live chat. So that should be a lot of fun. Anyways, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out.
Peace.
Church.